Here's a sentence that should stop you cold. The IRS will follow you to your grave, but it cannot follow your pension to certain zip codes on this planet. Let that sink in for a second. Every year, the US government takes a cut of your Social Security. It taxes your IRA distributions. It taxes your pension. You paid into that system for 40 years, and Washington still shows up on payday with its handout, no matter how much or how little you're living on. The average retiree in the US faces a combined federal and state tax burden that eats anywhere from 15 to 35% of their fixed income. For someone already trying to stretch $1,900 a month, that's not a rounding error. That's the difference between dignity and distress. But here's what nobody in the mainstream retirement industry will tell you. There are countries, real, stable, developed countries with functioning hospitals and functioning banks and real expat communities where your pension, your Social Security, your IRA withdrawals, your investment income arrive in your account and stay there. No local income tax. Zero. Some of these programs are brand new. Greece just launched one that locks in a guaranteed flat tax rate for 15 years. One of them is in a country most Americans have never once considered. And the secret, for now, is still a secret. We dug through actual tax codes, bilateral treaty documents, expat tax attorney forums, official government visa program pages, and first-hand accounts from retirees living this right now. We're going to give you the real rules, the real numbers, and the real catches, because every single one of these has a catch, so you can make an informed decision, not just a hopeful one. 7 countries, worst to best. Stay until number 1. That's the one almost nobody in this space has covered properly, and it may be the cleanest tax deal for American retirees alive today. One more thing before we start, and this is non-negotiable, is moving abroad does not make you invisible to the IRS. The United States taxes its citizens on worldwide income, wherever they live. You still file a federal return every year. You still report foreign accounts over $10,000 on your FBAR. These 7 countries eliminate the local tax bite, the host country's cut. With proper planning and the right tax tools available to expats, tools like the foreign tax credit and the foreign earned income exclusion, many retirees abroad end up owing very little or nothing to the IRS either. But you need a good expat CPA, not a YouTube video, for your specific situation. We'll say that once and mean it. Now, the list. We spent weeks on this. We read the actual legislative text where we could find it in translation, Greece's Law 4714 over 2020, Panama's Territorial Tax Code, Malaysia's MM2H program regulations, Paraguay's Decreto 4222 of 2025. Taxes for expats, people who work with American retirees abroad every single day. We looked at expat forums, real cost of living reports, and current visa income thresholds. Where things had recently changed, Portugal's NHR closure, Malaysia's updated MM2H tiers, Greece's extension of its 7% regime, we pulled from sources dated within the past 6 months. This is specifically about countries where your foreign-sourced pension income, Social Security, private pensions, IRA distributions, investment income faces zero or near zero local taxation. The distinction matters enormously. Let's go. Say the words retire in Dubai out loud, and most Americans picture a life they assume is reserved for oil billionaires and tech founders. Wrong. More wrong than you'd think. Here's the tax situation first, because it's the cleanest on this entire list. The United Arab Emirates has no personal income tax. Full stop. Not a reduced rate, not a special regime with conditions, zero. Your pension arrives, your investment income arrives, your social security check arrives. None of it is taxed by the UAE, not now, not under any foreseeable future, because the federal government funds itself through oil revenues and value-added taxes on goods, not on personal income. The visa is called the residence visa for the retired, and it requires you to be at least 55 years old and meet one of the financial thresholds. For Dubai specifically, you need either a monthly income of AED 15,000, that's roughly $4,100 US, or property worth AED 1 million, or savings of AED 1 million in a fixed deposit. Those numbers are real, and they're the catch. Dubai is not cheap. A furnished one-bedroom apartment in a decent neighborhood runs $1,800 to $2,500 a month. Dinner out costs $25 to $40. You are not moving to Dubai to save money. You are moving to Dubai to maximize what your money does, tax-free, inside one of the most modern cities on the planet. World-class hospitals, a US dollar-pegged currency with zero exchange rate risk, direct flights from almost every major American city, and infrastructure that puts most US cities to shame. The verdict. Dubai is number 7 because it's genuinely elite, not broadly accessible. If your pension is substantial, $4,000 a month or more, and you want zero local tax plus world-class infrastructure and a city that genuinely works, it's remarkable. If you're on a tight fixed income, the cost of living eliminates the tax advantage entirely. Know your number before you get excited. And yet, we still have number 6, where the tax deal is just as clean, but the bar to entry is nearly 1/5 the cost. Tbilisi. Say it. Tbilisi. The capital of a country called Georgia, sitting at the crossroads of Eastern Europe and Western Asia, bordered by the Black Sea to the west and the Caucasus Mountains to the north, and it is one of the fastest rising expat destinations in the world right now, almost entirely under the radar for American retirees. Here is the tax situation. Georgia operates a territorial tax system, which means only income earned inside Georgia is subject to Georgian income tax. Your U.S. Social Security? Not Georgian income. Your IRA distributions? Not Georgian income. Your pension? Not Georgian income. Under Georgia's territorial rules, foreign source income is exempt from taxation even for tax residents of the country. The flat income tax rate of 20% that Georgia applies, it applies to income earned within Georgia. Your American retirement income sits outside that net entirely. Residency is accessible, and arguably the simplest on this list. Georgia allows any foreign national to stay for 365 days per year without a visa, just passport entry. For longer-term legal residency, a temporary residence permit is available and straightforward to obtain. Many expats live there long-term under an annual permit renewal. And here's something nobody talks about. If you spend 183 days per year in Georgia, you qualify for Georgian tax residency, and under that status, your foreign income is still exempt. Only local Georgian earnings are taxed. The cost of living? Tbilisi is one of the most affordable capital cities in Europe by most metrics. Roughly 50% cheaper than Germany, well below Spain or Italy. A furnished one-bedroom apartment in a desirable central neighborhood runs $400 to $700 a month. A sit-down dinner at a proper restaurant, including local wine, costs $8 to $15. Monthly living for a single retiree who wants comfort, not austerity, sits at $900 to $1,400. Healthcare is the catch worth naming, honestly. The public system has gaps, and the quality of private care, while improving fast and very affordable, is not at the level you'd find in Western Europe or the Philippines. For serious conditions, Tbilisi's private hospitals are functional and cheap, but expats with complex medical needs often plan to travel for major procedures. Budget for solid international health insurance. English is not universally spoken. In tourist areas, expat neighborhoods, and major restaurants, you'll manage comfortably. In government offices, smaller shops, and rural areas, you will need a translator or learn some Georgian, a language so visually distinct it looks like no alphabet you've ever seen. Verdict. For the retiree who wants total freedom from local taxation on foreign income, a genuinely affordable cost of living, a culturally rich and visually stunning environment, and is comfortable navigating a country that's still developing its expat infrastructure, Georgia is an extraordinary value. The tax situation is possibly the cleanest deal per dollar spent on this entire list. Paraguay. Most Americans couldn't place it on a map without help. That's exactly the point. A landlocked country in the heart of South America, wedged between Argentina, Brazil, and Bolivia. Paraguay is flat farmland and a capital city, Asunción, that looks like a mid-sized Latin American city of the 1980s rather than a gleaming expat hub. But the tax story here is so compelling that a growing number of financially sophisticated retirees are paying very close attention. Paraguay taxes only income earned within Paraguay, foreign pensions, Social Security, IRA withdrawals, overseas rental income, foreign dividends. None of it is touched by the Paraguayan government. 0%. Under the territorial system codified in Paraguayan law, the source of the income determines the tax treatment, not where you're living. If the income originates outside Paraguay, it is outside Paraguay's tax jurisdiction. The flat rate that applies to local income, around 10%, simply doesn't reach your American retirement money. The residency is one of the most accessible on this list. Under the rentista track, formalized under Decreto 4122 of 2025, you demonstrate stable monthly income from outside Paraguay. The practitioner benchmark sits at around $1,300 a month, though this isn't a hard statutory number. The process moves faster than most countries on this list. Many applicants receive temporary residency within a few months of filing, and after just 2 years of temporary residency, permanent residency follows automatically. After 3 years of permanent residency, 5 total years in the country, you're eligible to apply for Paraguayan citizenship, one of the most accessible citizenship by residency pathways in the world. The cost of living is genuinely low. A furnished one-bedroom apartment in a safe Asunción neighborhood runs $250 to $450. A sit-down restaurant meal costs $5 to $10. Monthly living for a comfortable single retiree sits at $800 to $1,200. The catches are real. Paraguay is Spanish-speaking, and not tourist area Spanish. English is limited almost entirely to upscale expat circles. Infrastructure outside Asunción is genuinely rough. Internet is patchy in many residential areas. The expat community exists and is growing, but it is not large, not organized, and not the warm, established network you'd find in Costa Rica or Panama. If isolation concerns you, research seriously before committing. And there is no US-Paraguay tax treaty. That means no special provisions for reducing your IRS bill. But since Paraguay isn't taxing your foreign income, there's no double taxation issue. Your US obligations remain what they always were. The verdict: Paraguay is for the financially strategic retiree who prioritizes the structural tax deal over lifestyle amenities, and who is genuinely drawn to the prospect of citizenship down the road. The numbers work, the lifestyle is an acquired taste. Now we get into destinations where the tax deal is matched by something the previous entries couldn't fully offer: infrastructure, English-speaking expat communities, and a natural beauty that makes retirement feel like it was designed specifically for you. Costa Rica's tax system is territorial. The Pensionado visa, their official retirement program formalized under Law 9996, explicitly exempts your foreign pension income from Costa Rican taxation. Your Social Security, your US pension, your IRA distributions, they arrive in Costa Rica and they stay yours. The government has been deliberate about this. The income you declare to qualify for the visa is the same income that's exempt from local tax. That's not a loophole. That's the designed policy. To qualify for the Pensionado visa, you need a guaranteed lifetime pension income of at least $1,000 a month, Social Security fully qualifies, and a clean background check. That's it. Permanent residency follows after 3 years, and you only need to visit the country once a year to maintain your status during the temporary phase. The visa includes your spouse and dependents. The perks stack: import tax exemptions on household goods, a 20% reduction on real estate transfer taxes if you buy property under the program, access to Costa Rica's Caja public healthcare system, a genuine universal health system that, while imperfect, covers retirees for a few $100s a month in premiums. Cost of living sits at $1,500 to $2,000 for a single retiree living comfortably outside the most expensive tourist areas. The Central Valley towns of Atenas, Grecia, and San Ramon consistently rank among the most popular expat locations for good reason. A furnished one-bedroom in those areas runs $500 to $800, a restaurant meal $8 to $15. About 70,000 Americans currently live in Costa Rica. The expat network is mature, welcoming, and well-organized. The catch is, Costa Rica doesn't have a tax treaty with the United States, so your IRS planning requires an expat CPA who knows both systems. Some beach towns have become genuinely expensive. Tamarindo and Manuel Antonio now rival Florida in places. The medical system outside San Jose has gaps. And the rentista visa, for those without a traditional pension but with investment income, requires $2,500 a month of demonstrable income, significantly more demanding than the Pensionado program. The verdict: Costa Rica is arguably the best combination of accessibility, English availability, established expat community, and clean territorial tax treatment on this list. If your Social Security or pension clears $1,000 a month, the door is open. For a certain profile of American retiree, this is the sweet spot. Panama deserves to be discussed separately from Costa Rica, because what Panama has built for foreign retirees is in a different category, not because the lifestyle is superior, but because the Pensionado program may be the most generous, most thoughtfully designed retirement visa on earth. The tax situation. Panama operates a strict territorial tax system. Quote, "The legal framework is unambiguous. Your U.S. Social Security, your IRA, your pension, your foreign investment dividends, they arrive in Panama tax-free." Over 25,000 American retirees currently live in Panama, and this is a major reason why. The Pensionado visa requires a minimum guaranteed lifetime pension of $1,000 a month. Social Security counts, any government or corporate pension counts. With that proof in hand, you receive immediate permanent residency, not temporary, not provisional, permanent, plus a suite of legally mandated discounts that are unique among retirement programs globally. These aren't voluntary courtesy discounts. They are written into law. 25% off restaurant meals, 15% off hospital bills, 20% off medical consultations, discounts on airlines, hotels, entertainment, utility bills. The Pensionado discount card is recognized nationwide. Panama uses the US dollar as its official currency. There is no exchange rate risk, no currency conversion, no watching a fluctuating peso eat into your purchasing power. You land with dollars and spend dollars, exactly as you do at home. Cost of living depends enormously on where you choose. Panama City is a modern, cosmopolitan capital with luxury malls, international hospitals, and an active expat scene. Comfortable single-person living runs $1,400 to $1,900 a month. Boquete, the highland town in Chiriquí province at elevation, is where thousands of American retirees have built a life. Cooler climate, small-town feel, extraordinary natural scenery, and monthly costs that drop to $1,000 to $1,400 comfortably. The beach communities of Coronado and Tbilisi offer something different again. The catches are honest ones. Panama City's traffic is notorious. Crime, while rare in expat areas, requires basic situational awareness. Bureaucracy in Panama is famously slow. Visa applications can drag for months, and a local attorney or relocation specialist is genuinely worth the cost. Healthcare in Panama City is excellent by Latin American standards, with internationally trained English-speaking doctors at private hospitals, but rural areas have significant gaps. The verdict. Panama has the most polished, most veteran-tested retirement visa on this list. The dollar economy, the generous legal discounts, the zero foreign income tax, and the deep established expat community make it the most immediately accessible option for the typical American retiree. If you have a pension of any kind over $1,000 a month, you can walk through this door right now. We covered Malaysia in our islands video, and the lifestyle case there, the food, the healthcare, the Penang UNESCO Heritage District, is extraordinary on its own. But the tax story deserves its own spotlight because it's one of the most favorable territorial tax regimes in Southeast Asia. Malaysia taxes only income earned within Malaysia. Under the MM2H program and the broader Malaysian tax framework, foreign-sourced income, including your U.S. pension, Social Security, IRA distributions, overseas rental income, and foreign dividends is exempt from Malaysian taxation, provided it has already been subject to tax in the country of origin. For American retirees whose income has been subject to U.S. tax treatment, this condition is cleanly met. The exemption is not theoretically available. It is actively used by the tens of thousands of MM2H holders currently living in Malaysia. The program had approved approximately 58,000 passes as of end 2024. The exemption runs through at least 2036 by current legislation, giving retirees a meaningful planning horizon. The MM2H program, Malaysia My Second Home, has been restructured into tiered levels: silver, gold, and platinum. $5 million, around $318,000. Those thresholds are the catch, and they're a significant one. The 2021 restructuring raised the bar substantially from where the program started. The silver tier is now better suited to retirees with substantial savings and solid pension income, rather than someone living primarily on Social Security. If you clear the financial threshold, what you get is extraordinary. 0 local tax on foreign income through at least 2036. Healthcare in Penang's internationally accredited private hospitals at a fraction of U.S. costs. A specialist consultation runs $25 to $40 an MRI, around $150 to $250. Cost of living in Penang for a well-funded retiree is $1,200 to $1,800 a month, eating extraordinarily well and living comfortably. The food culture alone, the hawker stalls, the wet markets, the Penang laksa, has been ranked among the best on earth. The verdict: Malaysia is number 2 because the MM2H financial requirements now put it out of reach for many Social Security-only retirees. But for those who have savings and assets to qualify, the combination of a genuine tax exemption on foreign income, world-class healthcare at impossibly cheap prices, and an established English-language expat environment is almost impossible to match. We saved number 1 for the country that has done something no other nation on this list has done. It didn't just build a territorial tax system and leave retirees to figure it out. Greece looked at the global retirement market, designed a program from scratch specifically for foreign pensioners, gave it a flat guaranteed rate, and locked that rate in for 15 years. That program is the 7% flat tax regime for foreign pensioners, introduced under Greek Law 4714/2020 and still fully operational in 2026. Here is exactly how it works. You transfer your tax residency to Greece. You spend at least 183 days a year in the country. You live there, in other words. You have not been a Greek tax resident for at least 5 of the previous 6 years. Your pension must come from a source outside Greece. And you must come from a country that has a tax cooperation agreement with Greece. The United States qualifies. Meet those conditions, and every euro of foreign pension income you receive, your Social Security, your U.S. pension, your IRA withdrawals, foreign dividends, foreign interest, is taxed in Greece at a flat 7%. Not up to 44% under Greece's normal progressive rates, 7%, for 15 consecutive years, guaranteed, with no renegotiation. To put that in practical terms, if you receive $30,000 a year from Social Security and pension income, your Greek tax bill is $2,100. For a year, that replaces what could be a $6,000 to $10,000 combined federal and state tax burden depending on your situation in the US, plus any Greek tax at progressive rates up to 44% without this regime. And the setting. Greece is not a budget destination in the way Paraguay or Georgia are, but it is significantly cheaper than France, Germany, or Spain. A furnished one-bedroom apartment on one of the Greek islands, Crete, Rhodes, Corfu, or the less trafficked islands of the Aegean, runs $500 to $800 a month. A restaurant meal with local wine costs $12 to $18. A comfortable, single retiree monthly budget on the islands or in smaller mainland cities like Thessaloniki runs $1,500 to $2,200. Athens pushes higher, but outside the capital, the value is extraordinary. Healthcare is ranked top 10 in Europe by the World Health Organization. Public healthcare is available to registered residents. Private care is available, modern, and costs a fraction of the US equivalent. English is widely spoken in tourist areas, expat communities, and among educated professionals. Not universally, but enough for daily life. The residency pathway for Americans requires a Greek national visa, the D-type, then formal transfer of tax residency to Greece through the Greek tax authority. A local lawyer or relocation specialist makes this dramatically smoother. The Golden Visa is a separate, investment-based pathway available to those who buy property. Minimum thresholds vary by region. The catches are honest. Greek bureaucracy is notoriously slow, and the tax authority application process requires patience and good local support. Rental prices in the most popular Greek island spots, Santorini, Mykonos, are genuinely expensive and incompatible with a $1,500 a month budget. The solution is the same one thousands of retirees have already found. The quieter islands, the smaller mainland towns, the northern regions, where Greek life is beautiful and real, and the tourists haven't priced everything out. The program requires you to actually live in Greece, 183 days a year, so this isn't a strategy for someone who wants to dip in occasionally and avoid taxes. You have to show up and stay. And there's the US side. You still file your American return, but the 7% Greek tax you pay creates a foreign tax credit that can offset your US liability on the same income. For many retirees, the combination of the Greek flat rate and the US foreign tax credit means the total global tax bill on pension income is dramatically lower than staying in the United States. The verdict: for the retiree who is ready to actually move, to commit to a new country, not just test the waters, Greece offers something unique. A legal, government-designed, codified flat tax rate of 7% on all foreign pension income, guaranteed for 15 years in a European country with world-class healthcare, Mediterranean beauty, deep history, and a lifestyle that has drawn humans to its shores for 3,000 years. It's not the cheapest life on this list. It might be the best one. Seven countries, 7 completely different trade-offs, every single one of them doing something the US tax code never will, leaving your retirement income alone. Let's run through them one more time. The UAE, 0 local income tax in a world-class city, built for retirees with serious assets and pension income above $4,000 a month. Georgia, the country, zero local tax on foreign income, one of the most affordable capitals in Europe, a visa as simple as showing up. Paraguay, total territorial tax exemption, $1,300 a month gets you residency, and after 5 years you can hold a second passport. Costa Rica, territorial tax, $1,000 a month pension gets you permanent residency, with 70,000 Americans already living the answer. Panama, the most generous retirement visa on the planet, legally mandated discounts, dollar economy, zero foreign income tax. Malaysia, near zero local tax on foreign income, world-class healthcare at $30 a consultation, and the hawker stalls of Penang, a food city that has no rival. And Greece, a government-designed, legislatively guaranteed 7% flat tax on all your foreign pension income, locked in for 15 years, inside the European Union, on an island with a view that would make your neighbors back home question every decision they ever made. The world is wider than most of us were told. The tax code doesn't have to follow you there. And here's the thing, if you're watching this thinking, it sounds too good, that's exactly the reaction the people who've already left were counting on. The fewer people who figure this out, the longer the windows stay open. Not every country that looks like a good deal on paper actually is one right now. Some places that had excellent programs 3 years ago have quietly closed the door. Portugal's retiree tax exemption ended for new arrivals in 2025. Some places have become dangerous in ways that don't always make the news. We've done that research too, the countries where the welcome mat has been quietly pulled, and the places where safety for American retirees has genuinely deteriorated. That video is on your screen right now. Because a great retirement abroad isn't just about finding the right country, it's about avoiding the wrong ones. Do the research. Visit first. The math is better than you think.